The Jim and Terry Show, coming to you from the Hobbit Hole Studio in downtown Bobcaygeon with my cup of coffee. And I've been here for a while and I'm getting stir crazy. Stir the coffee, stir the pot, stir something. Oh, what am I going on about? Well, first, cheers to my good friend Jim and the empty chair in the corner, which will be filled this week. All being equal, ceteris paribus, that economic term, ceteris paribus, which means literally in English, all things being equal, a phrase you use when you're not certain about things and exactly how they're going to play out. So you have this caveat, this disclaimer that says, well, you know, all things being equal, this should happen. All things being equal, that empty chair will be filled in just a few days. Stay tuned, The Jim and Terry Show. In the meantime, a mug of coffee, slurp, slurp. I hope you can hear that swallowing of that. It's still warm. I have that little warmer for my mug. I'm going to continue on with the theme of what would you do with that? So creating an ambient file, creating a musical mood, a thing, and then passing it off to someone and say, you know, I'm not sure I'll take this any much further than what I've done. And what do you hear? Do you hear a lyric? Do you hear a message? Do you hear a vocal? Do you hear a spoken word? Do you hear guitars other than the layer that I put into this? It's a nylon-based guitar, little chord progression, but it has a bit of a swagger and a snap. Let me know what you think. This is how it all started. Well, what did you think? Is enough of an idea for you to run away with? Well, it was for Keith Allen, who's from Middlesbrough, England. And Keith loves his castles, absolutely loves gallivanting around the English countryside. And of course, here in Ontario, we have no castles. The closest thing we might have is Casaloma in Toronto. But outside of that, yeah, it'd be slim pickings to find anything with the stature of some of the castles that Keith has visited and sent photographs of. He's very intrigued with history, as am I, but he's got in the English countryside so many ancient ruins to muck about in. And we respect that and we work off each other. His view of history is similar to mine. It's important to know. So he sent me this picture, the stone knight, the sarcophagus. Of what cathedral, I don't know, but it made a nice photograph, and so I included the phrase Stone Night and Repose, and that sent Keith off on a songwriting journey that I will play for you at the end. I'll give you the complete song at the end. You can find any of these things on our Wix site. It's the terrywigmore.com. It's at Wix, and it's where we, what do we call it? A repository of all our creative endeavors. Sometimes we put half-baked ideas on that site too, things that didn't quite go where we thought they would go, weren't quite as eloquent as we hoped, or polished and sparkled as we thought. But everything you can find there, it's a collection now. We are approaching our 12th year. Our second decade was this year, marking another album. Will we get an album a year for the next decade? Well, you hope for the best, but you never know, especially having survived the pandemic. Oh, I'd like to spend a little bit of time talking about the pandemic and how we are looking at more COVID right now. And of course, I told you that our entire family was taken down, smitten by the dreaded virus, the coronavirus. And that was I was scheduled for my final update on the XXB 1.5 vaccine. Not that it would have prevented getting an infection, and vaccines don't prevent. I was just lucky to have escaped from 2020, late 2020 to 2023, the end of the year. I almost made it 4 years, escaping the dreaded COVID infection. And why I say dreaded is just that we don't know the long-term outcomes of this thing that they have now termed long COVID, long-haul COVID, the long-term effects. For me, it's sort of just fatigue, just general malaise, and not quite having the zip and the zing and the spring in my step that I used to. Taking an afternoon nap, maybe. No, who can do that unless you're retired? So that speaks to an age and stage in how I can manage a COVID infection, just taking it easy. But I dread for families who are wage earners, are in their 40s, with kids at home, kids going to school, where the outbreaks are going to be all over the place. And as I mentioned, my awareness, once I became smitten and tested positive for COVID, I started checking the Public Health Ontario websites and realized that the wastewater chart for our area, for our health unit in this area, was starting to rise towards a precipitous peak, a crescendo that emulated the early days of, do you remember what it was called? Omicron? Then it's moved into Delta, and then, well, XXB 1.5 is the vaccine designation that's most recent. I will not be eligible for that vaccine because I've been infected, which means I'm trusting my body to produce the something. I don't swear by natural immunity at all. I would rather not be exposed to it at all. However, I am grateful that our healthcare professionals and those who develop the vaccines, including, here's a plug for the book I'm just wrapping up now, Dr. Peter Hotez, The Deadly Rise of Anti-Science, and in it are the whole themes that I've long portrayed in terms of what used to be conservative or Republican politics influencing science, when people who are elected officials determine what healthcare outcomes you're going to experience. Health is not a political decision, or is it? Red states far more deadly experience of COVID than blue states. That's an American framing. In Canada, it would be crazy trucker convoy types versus science. And you're going to say that you know more, and you know what's best for you, and hands off my body, except if it's an infectious disease. Don't get me started. There you go. There's my plug for the book. You want to read about it, the history of how anti-science has developed into a thing affecting the health of everyone. Stay tuned. Here's the finished product from Keith Allen and Terry Wigmore.
Here's to the nobles from long, long ago, enshrined in cathedrals cathedrals, stone nights in repose, guarding just what nobody knows, battling the demons from long ancient wars. Did it matter much then, and does it matter now? Did it matter much then, and does it matter now? Remember the chaos in the world. Yes, I remember, lest it should return. Oh, did it matter much then, and does it matter now? Did it matter much then, and does it matter now? Do you remember the chaos in the world? Yes, I remember, lest it should return. Hurtful retraction of your genuflect. Did it matter much then, and does it matter now? Did it matter much then, and does it matter now? Do you remember chaos in the world? Yes, I remember. Guarding just what nobody knows, battling the demons from long ancient wars. Did it matter much then? Does it matter now? Did it matter? Do you remember chaos in the world? Yes, I remember, lest it should return.
There you go, the finished product from an ambient track to a tune called Noble. Find it on the terrywigmore.com website. This is the Jim and Terry Show, the and Terry version. Signing off for today. Bye-bye for now.